See why AIDS is a problem in the Marine community.
Yeah, but now you'll notice, siege for all you Terran players out there, a siege tank on the high ground is deadly. This one has 13 kills right now, and it is softened up so much. But Partygnome's in a lot of trouble here actually right now, trying to get a quick repair. All there's left is roaches. I guess where'd the Mutalists go? Where'd the Mutie? They got killed.
Got killed by the something. Vikings.
By the Vikings, yeah, right. So, but now we can see the importance of how strong medevacs are. Roaches are filing in here one at a time.
Still doesn't have burrow. That's surprising to me.
Burrow is a very...
For roaches, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's like having a medevac.
It basically is. Burrowed roaches, if you guys didn't know, roaches regenerate faster while burrowed. So if you're losing a battle, run the roaches back down here. There's no army down here. Burrow them up. Come back up.
Waste a scan at least.
Make them. Then you make them waste a scan. And Partygnome, who's only on one orbital command right now, every scan counts. These SCVs are all now they're starting to transfer. Transfer even more. Transfer all of them except for 2 or 3. That's all you need mining up there in those few remaining mineral patches. These need to be made in orbital command as soon as possible. And our Zerg player, the cardinal rule, be one base ahead. He was one base ahead. Now Partygnome has his expansion. He needs to expand. He has the rocks down too.
If we go to our income tab here, the Zerg is only ahead by 1 harvester. Zerg, you need to be ahead by a lot more than that.
If you notice, he's only ahead now, but he's even in harvesters. At 20 minutes into the game, a Zerg player should be maxed out on harvesters, which is about 70 to 90, depending on the type of fighting that's been going on. You should have a lot more than 36 harvesters if you're a Zerg player at 20 minutes into the game. Mainly because he didn't expand until very late. And then now at 20 minutes, Zerg players want to get their third expansion up at about 10 minutes at the 10-minute in-game counter. So if you don't know this, there's a counter here you can turn on. Turn it on so you can be a little more spot on with your timing. And we have another siege tank on the high ground for defense, putting the wall back up and now sending a Viking out to scout. This still needs to be made into an orbital command. Oh, mules are insane. Now we can see he's fully mined out in his main. So it's actually he still is one base ahead right now because it's 2 mining bases versus 1. This one isn't mining anymore.
Buckshot, do you want to talk about the rules for orbital command versus planetary fortress?
Usually you need 2 orbital commands for scans and mules. You always want to have 2 orbital commands. Once you get your third base, you can opt for planetary fortresses depending on where they are on the map. But hold on a sec. Here comes another attack with more banelings and all roaches this time. He's just going to roll. Oh, my God. Now he's starting to run away. That's what you need to do. Run away, run away, run away. Very good. As you'll notice, he ran. But running into the roaches now. That's not good.
Roaches counter Marines pretty well. So without the medevacs there, this battle would have gone a lot worse. But these medevacs actually keep these Marines alive for a very long time. And we have the high siege tank. Well, he's not high, but you get what I'm saying. High ground siege tank, out of sight. So that siege tank
now
being a hero right
this
now.
Siege tank only got 9 kills, but how much damage did he do? He may have not got the killing blow to add to his counter, but these 2 siege tanks got off so many shots that softened them up so much, and that amount of roaches just barely. I mean, there was just a few Marines left that survived, and that without those siege tanks, that amount of roaches would have ended the game, no question.
One thing, this isn't really important right now, but one thing I kind of want to pick on, Partygnome's, in his natural here, these missile turrets, probably could have put them outside. I don't know why, but for some reason that bugs me when things are in the way of my SCVs. It's not a big deal.
Some of the pros like to do it, mainly because it provides better SCV protection. But with 2, it kind of does slow down your mining. So you can kind of get the same effect if it's right here and see where there's gaps in the minerals. You can put your missile turrets here, and they give basically the same protection. And I think some Mutalists are trying to poke around in here.
The Vikings held
off. The Mutalists, with the Vikings on the field, it really does shut down Mutalist production. Even just 1, you can be a little, especially with not a giant ball. But our Zerg player needs to saturate this so bad. He's actually behind in harvesters. Oh, man. Zergberger, give some Zerg tips right now.
What I'm most surprised at 23 minutes, what separates, silver to plat to gold, you got to work the creep highway. It's information and, that last attack with the roaches and the banelings, if he would have been able to run up there faster, I mean, seconds matter so much in this game, especially when.
One siege tank spawned at the end there.
Yeah, that little bit of a second would have totally changed the game if they would have been able to blitzkrieg a little bit more, throw out historic words. But that's
Oh, that's not good.
That's Zerg's. That's what they do. You're fast. That's what you need to be.
You need creeps.
That's your job. But other than that, I mean, he's a little slow getting the drones. He's flirting around with these few mutas, but it's. I feel like he's wasting actions per minute or whatever.
I thought you had 27 roaches on the way for a second.
But other than that, I mean, creep highway is absolutely necessary, especially in such a small map like this. It does not take long to get the other player's map in this map.
Zergberg pointed out some really good things. Build a third queen to start laying creep tumors at the beginning of the game, and get creep. I've played so many games. I've played so many games where creep, if I'm the Terran player, ends up right here at my base, and the only reason it doesn't go further is because I kill the creep tumor that's about to spawn. And then they're able to see me move out no matter what, and then they're also
a little bit of a scare factor.
It really when there's creep,
it creeps you out.
Creep creeps you out. When there's creep,
like, holy shit, they know what I'm doing.
They know what you're doing.
Sight is super important.
Sight is, when they got creep. Knowledge is power in StarCraft.
I like this play though.
This is very standard Terran.
Siege wall up and getting his gold instead of the
which would have been eliminated
if there was creep here. Our Zerg player would have seen him move out and just swarmed him when this army was not siege tanks, not in siege position.
Or he could have had creep in the way.
In the creep, if creep in the way, you would have to kill it and then wait for it to clear. So, but here comes a massive roach ball trying to just honestly, Muta's going in way too early against the Marines only. And now here comes the stim, actually not needing to run away here. These Marines need to run back and start killing.
Roaches still don't have burrow.
And also zero upgrades versus 1-1. Marines with 1-1 are with medevacs and stim are a lot tougher than they think they are, especially with a single siege tank just shelling out DPS in the back, splash damage and bonus versus armored.
That was a lot of.
I definitely say blue's in favor.
Blue is Zergberger's right. Well, one thing to notice in that battle, the red Zerg player had a lot of roaches. And in general, roaches counter Marines. Roaches tear Marines apart. But Partygnome has so many medevacs right now. And it's not even a lot. It's like 6. It is 6. I'm good at looking. Anyway, it's 6 medevacs, but he has the 1-1 upgrades plus the medevacs. And his small little Marine ball with 1 siege tank ended up beating all of those roaches. And I mean, honestly, that's pretty surprising. It just shows you how far medevacs go, especially what the red Terran player what the red Zerg player could be doing right now is either A, getting a couple more Mutila Scout, but considering that these Vikings are on the field, I would be going for some Hydras right now. Not only do they have a lot of range for the range DPS, but they can take apart some of these medevacs. And it'd really just add a lot of depth to the Zerg army instead of trying to just send in roach ball after roach ball without even touching the medevacs.
Now, for some players who like to do Hydra play, that would be a good idea to kind of, but you don't want to mix in too many Hydras against the Terran army because they are pretty squishy. Something though, the number.
Mix and match.
Obviously, though, this force is all Marines now with 1 siege tank. The #1 counter to this would be that mass roach ball, take out half of those roaches, and put in all banelings.
And where are the banelings? That's what I was just thinking. He's going Bile Ball. Where are the
banelings? Not even Bile Ball. Marauders can tank baneling damage because they're armored and they have health, more health than a Marine. So he went mass Marine, and with a baneling speed upgrade. And he says Terran is so OP it is sad. Banelings. Our Zerg player, Raw, I'm sorry, but you just made the wrong units. He got
stubborn. He got stubborn in his builds. I've done the same thing.
That happens. You want to force that. He even says it. He says Trick is more Banelings, and it's so true. If he had creep spread up to this battle right here with roly-polies, those Banelings would have come in so fast and just decked it. The Mutalists would have been able to clean up some of the Vikings with more Mutalists without the Marines supporting them. And then the Roaches would have had just free reign over Marines. And it is just the Banelings go such a long way versus only Marines. And you as we saw from that first engagement, he took out his entire Marine force, and it wasn't even close.
To speak on Partygnome's behalf here, a very well-played game in general by Partygnome.
Some good micro.
A lot of good micro. That first battle, not so much. Should have moved those Marines back. But that second battle, he did a very nice job of moving the Marines back. Now we see the late Banelings way too late. They're all going to die before they even pop. But one thing, just to kind of give Partygnome some advice here, against a better Zerg player, you build a second factory, you keep the tanks going, and then you have something to absorb any of the Baneling damage. Because any a higher level Zerg player would have definitely been
Speed.
Yep, he would have had the creep, he would have had the roly poly for the Banelings, and centrifugal hooks, I believe it's called, but I like roly poly.
Fungal growth and
Fungal growth. Yep. There's a lot of tools in the Zerg arsenal to stop Marines dead in their tracks and let Banelings just roll into them at free will, and that will destroy a Terran army that's heavy on Marines.
Now you can see though, and even though Zerg can beat them, you can also see Terran are just as good. You just have to make sure. A trick I used to like to do when I played Terran, I would separate hotkey my Marines from my tanks, so I'd siege up my tanks and then have my Marines all together, and then just stim them up, run them away, and just control the Marines because the siege tanks can't move anyway in siege mode. And then you just run them around, let the siege tanks do their job, and let the Marines split up a little bit and get a couple shots off. And then once all the Banelings are dead, you move in, kill the Zerglings, and mute us.
And one thing to note, what Buckshot was just saying there, it's even though he's in Diamond League, it's not that hard to put hotkeys for your units. Put your Marines on one hotkey, your siege tanks on another. It's not super hard to do. I fail to do it a lot. If you ever look at any of my replays, you can see I only hotkey my Nexus and then anything that's not my warp gates. So personally, I'm bad at it, so I understand that it's, a lot of times you just forget to do it. But I need to be doing it more, and it's not very hard to do. It's very doable. Anyway, that's all. I think that's pretty good. So another Drunk Cast Friday for you guys. We'll cast some more. We'll get a couple more in tonight. Don't worry, we'll be up. Anyway, you guys stay classy. StarCraft.
Oh, I don't have one ready.
Buckshot doesn't have one ready. Zergburger.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. Remember, 50% of Marine AIDS is caused by stim pack sharing. All right. That is all. Good game, Partygnome, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.